In today's video, I talk with Sloane and David about their C-section experience as well as parenthood.
All right. So, hello and welcome. We have Sloane and David, two newish parents here to share their birth experience and just, talk to us a little bit about their journey to parenthood. So, before we get started, if you could actually, share a little bit about yourself.
You want to start? Go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Yeah. So my name's Sloane Fair. Just turned 30 like a week ago.
Woo woo.
Yeah, new decade. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, born and raised. Went to college, graduated back in 2017. Been just in the corporate world. Met this guy a while back. We've been kicking it ever since, and we have a almost 8-month-old. So yeah.
Hey, hello everybody. My name is David. I also grew up here in Columbus and graduated from college at Ohio State University back in 2017 as well. And I'm actually working at the university, so it's kind of full circle. It's a full circle moment, and it's really cool. And I'm just glad I'm able to take care of my family.
Love it. And you're even repping today. I see the shirt.
Yeah.
You gotta get that win, man. That's all I need.
Right.
I'm keeping the pose right now. I gotta be professional. It's an interview.
Right.
So to get us started, I wanted to ask you, just like looking back on your birth experience together, what are some of the joyful or powerful moments that stick out to you the most?
What can I say? It was looking back, I really am proud of like the resilience we had during the course of the entire pregnancy, and especially her strength during the delivery. It was definitely remarkable. Helped me have a newfound appreciation for all that she went through, as well as just women in general. And I think some of the joyful moments that we've had is just making sure we're intentional with staying connected, right? And many times with parents, or just new parents, just all parents in general, sometimes you get caught up in the task of being a parent, and you might lose a little bit of your way with just the dating of your partner. But I think we've done a good job of just maintaining consistency when it comes to just not just being parents, but yeah, I'm still dating and hanging out with someone that you have chosen to be your life partner.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the I always go back to like the actual sort of labor and delivery. I did feel very supported, just out of like from him, just knowing how to support me through contractions and things of that nature, and just giving positive affirmations. To me, that was very powerful because there were moments in the process of bringing Zora Earthside that I was just like, "Ooh, this is hard. Like, this is a hard moment." And like, he's there physically holding me up, or we're, hugging. And it's just, those are the moments that I kind of, that are highlighted for me, for like the experience that I had.
Beautiful. Thank you both for sharing that. Could you now share a little bit about some of those moments that were, challenging? What were the moments that stick out the most for both of you?
I can go first. Challenges. I would say, for me, I wanted to make sure that I make the process for her as kind of like smooth as possible, easy going, because I already know that bringing a kid into this world is a challenge in itself. Just the delivery process is like there's a chance that this mother might not make it. There's always that
Mhm.
chance when delivering a baby. And we had, essentially emergency C-section. And
Mhm.
I was super stressed because, of course we make our plan and all that, but like this is the last thing I wanted to happen because it really couldn't wrap my mind around, her having to be cut open and you know,
Mhm.
actual surgery having to be done. So that to me was one of the biggest challenges for me. And it was easier for me because, we had you as a support, and
Mhm.
as well as just being able to, I had to call my mom, like, Mom, I'm stressed. Like I'm wigging out right now. And then it was just like, whatever 10 was, I thought in my life, I was on like 20 stress. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know. I'm just like, she's like, it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? This is part of the journey. And I just had to take a breather and, just be that support for her. It got to a point where she was holding my hand to tell me like, it's
Mhm.
gonna be okay.
Yeah.
She's holding my hand to tell me
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay.
I
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that I think was probably the biggest and main challenge through the whole process.
Yeah. Challenges for me, I would say this is something I kind of, when reading the question, I had to sit with because I had to kind of recount the experience um, from like start to finish. So for me, the most challenging part was the physical labor of just like laboring her. The contractions were challenging. The checks to see where we were at as far as dilation goes was challenging, but also there were moments where, even though I was being flipped around and tossed like a rotisserie chicken is what I say, to try to get her in a more comfortable position, of just sort of that instinct of knowing that like I feel like she's ready to come out and we're both just tired. So that was challenging for me to sort of sit with that and know that, and also kind of, okay, let's think about this logically. Let's kind of get to the end goal of getting her out and for both of us to be healthy. So that sort of emotional labor was a challenge, but I had to kind of put it aside and be a tough cookie in that moment. So.
And you really were. Like,
I would say that's
you were amazing. You were just, I mean, you were so grounded and centered and throughout it all. And you were really focused on, like you said, bringing her earthside. And you guys worked fantastic as a team together. I just mentioned I was your doula. We know that you had your birth in a hospital. How supported did you feel by your birth team? So not only me, but your doctors, your nurses, your mother was also there to support you. Your partner, David.
I feel like I couldn't have picked a better birth team, and that's just all across the board, between having you as a doula, having David as a partner, my mom there, and even just the doctor that I had and the nursing staff that I had. I gave birth at Riverside. So yeah, I couldn't have dreamed of a better team. And I talked about this the other day with a friend of mine who's kind of looking at hospitals to deliver her baby at. There were, like, each time I was going through like a different stage of the birthing process, whether that was like when I first got there and I'm checking in with a nurse, and then I have, the nurse team throughout the whole process of labor, the doctor who gave me the epidural, like it was all these different women who were just so instrumental in like, oh, you have to be strong. You don't have to be strong in this moment, or like giving me advice, or rubbing my hand, rubbing my forehead. Like there was just so much comfort from the women that were a part of that birthing team. And then just having David, having the knowledge that you were able to give him to support me, whether that was physically, emotionally, with words, affirmation. So I felt very supported, and I felt it was a dream. I didn't have to worry about any aspect of like nurses making me feel weird or me not feeling supported, especially with everything else going on. I just feel like that was something I didn't have to think twice about is if I'm in a safe place.
Beautiful. David, how did you feel like as a partner? You know, a lot of times we're talking about, you know, the birth experience, and it's mostly, you know, women focused, as honestly as it should be, because you're, as the woman, you're carrying the child and bringing this child into the world, but not without your partner. How did you feel supported by the birth team? Like, as being a member of the birth team and as being someone who is needing to be supported throughout the process. How did you feel?
Well, for one, I really, you know, a lot of people that were in the birth team, I would say circle, you know, I know you personally, I know her mom personally, you know, we got to know the doctors that we were always visiting.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as like she's telling me like, hey, my team, my unit that I got here, like is making me feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I trusted and leaned into her intuition with it. So she's telling me like, hey, this is a good team I got. It made me feel better because, you know, certain things I can't see or pay attention to. I was like, I'm not going to be able to, you know, sense when they're making her feel fully comfortable and everybody really made her feel comfortable. And I really liked that about the entire process. Now, I want to give a shout out to you specifically because I personally didn't know much about, you know, the birthing process and just some of the things that you were sharing, and not only the live examples you came and showed us, but a lot of the PDFs, content, clickable links, and all of the things that you shared really helped me just put my mind around how to support, how to be present, just things that I could do since I'm not physically, you know, carrying the child. And it also made me realize how few, honestly, like options there were when it comes to like just helping the fathers navigate it. But you took what you could find and put it in a real a digestible format for us, and I would say I truly appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, you know, the next question, it can be a little bit hard. So I want to preface that, and it's about informed consent. You know, it's an important part of any experience that you have, right? And I want to make sure that we understand what it means. Informed consent during childbirth means that you, as the birthing person, and your partner are fully informed about any medical procedures, interventions, or decisions that may arise during the labor, birth, and delivery of your child, and making sure that there's a clear understanding of what's happening, that you're part of the decision-making process, that you are the center of the decision-making process. And so in your birth experience, how did the conversations around informed consent impact your sense of control and empowerment, both during your cesarean, as well as, you know, well, honestly, during the, you know, the labor before your cesarean, as well as postpartum, you know, so how did you work together to make decisions that felt right for both of you? So it's kind of like a little bit of a wordy question, but if you could both share a little bit or share together.
I was gonna say, this somebody sounds like we could tag team it. I felt like, you know, through the sessions with you, and it just helped us, you know, just understand how to approach having informed consent. It's not necessarily a thing where you're being combative with your providers. It's just like, hey, help me understand why I need this and what are our options when it comes to this entire process. And then just also coming up with a plan and like, hey, we want to do this route, not that route. And you know, and the cool part is I felt like they respected all decisions that we made, you know, just because we were informed, and we didn't necessarily have to be stern or firm or anything. It was just like, here's what we want to do. And then when the time came when we had to go and pivot, they were like, hey, look, honestly, we're gonna have to do this. And we as informed and understanding individuals were like, okay, we get it. We, what I'm saying, because we have a little bit of knowledge to the process, and it's like, okay, yep, let's go ahead and go.
I think also too, this goes back to me feeling empowered enough to have those types of conversations because I had built that type of rapport with my provider. So I was already able to have those conversations thanks to you and and your sort of guidance on how to communicate. I was able to have those sort of conversations and asking questions during my appointments prior to going into labor. So I already kind of had that rapport and me and my doctor had respect for each other. So I trusted her to make decisions, and she also trusted me to, let her know if something felt off or if things were a little bit awkward. I will say a cesarean was not on my birth plan at all. I wish that I had more sort of intentional time to look at that option, or what could possibly happen if you go in for a cesarean, because I didn't necessarily know up until that point of having my doctor kind of explain things to me. So I wish I would have had that information beforehand to relieve some of that anxiety that I had. So I did feel empowered. I did feel like the information that my doctor was giving me was digestible. And I think that she was very intentional in her delivering the news of kind of where we needed to pivot instead of the nursing team, because we had built that rapport. So I did feel like, okay, I trust your judgment. There were sort of options or things that we kind of looked at to see if there was any possible way we could pivot away from the C-section. Those didn't work. So it kind of was like, I'm giving you all of these sort of options. We're going to see if this works. If it doesn't work, we're going to have to go this route. So I felt definitely informed and empowered, even in the midst of the anxiety of having to do an emergency section.
Thank you both for sharing that. I know, like you said, it wasn't part of the plan, but the way you both were able to pivot, and again, as being a witness, just seeing how you in those situations, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, and like you said, the anxiety, but the calmness, the ability to just pause and, like you said, try some different things. Let's look at some alternatives before we go straight to that, and sometimes just that pause is so important, and not feeling rushed into any decision making. And I really commend you, Sloane, for your ability to just put your foot down, really, and be firm on, okay, yes, this is what I need. I'm trusting my intuition, and leaning into, okay, what is best for me and my baby. And again, David, you being a supportive partner and just really, like you said, following along to, her cues about, what she needed throughout the process. And so now we're going to shift gears a little bit and kind of, talk about you two, and really, as a couple, how did you find ways to support and uplift each other? And more so during the postpartum period now.
Yeah, I would say, we are kind of blessed to have, the community that we have. And what they allow us to do is just get back to dating, right? Because, Zora's grandmother will take her for, a day on the weekend. Her and I can go out to eat, or we can just relax in the house and just take a break from parenting for a day. We really make sure we take advantage of the time that we have together, and just rely on our community whenever we need to go out to eat, you know, I'll bring home flowers, I'll bring home wine, bring home, you know, the things that Sloane likes, you know, that enjoys. It just helps uplift her, you know, whenever she needs it. And it's just, I think, it's been I couldn't imagine doing this with anyone else just because the way that she does like the sweet things, you know, the words of encouragement, the like sometimes she'll be like, you know, you're doing a good job. And I'm like, dang, I didn't even think I was doing a good job. I was just doing what I felt like is my job. But at the end of the day, you know, we can get kind of stuck in our roles and just, well, father's supposed to do this, mother's supposed to do that, but she does a good job of seeing me, you know, and reminding me of just where I'm at and, you know, doing a good job.
Yeah. All of those things are great, by the way. What I will say to that is I'm very aware of the fact that David has his own sort of dynamic and internal landscape that he's dealing with as a postpartum father. So even though I have my, you know, shifts and hormones and, you know, things of that nature that I'm experiencing and going through within my own self, he also has those types of things that may be going on within himself too. So as much as he is, you know, bringing me flowers and wine and giving me those words of encouragement, I try to do the same. I make sure that, you know, when there might be moments of overstimulation or anything like that, that we're able to take a breath, or he's able to decompress in the ways that he feels are most important to him. So I think building off of that sort of sense of, I see you, I understand that this is kind of a difficult time, or, you know, things are a little bit hard right now. Just like you see me and you help me, I help you in the same regard as well. So it's really important for us to continue to do that. And to also understand that we are a team against whatever the issue is in front of us. So just remembering that is so important. So yeah, I would say that's definitely something that we try to do to support and uplift each other, is just to listen and be there. So
Beautiful. So what tips and advice would you like to share with other couples who are, you know, either expecting or they just had a baby? What are some important things? And this could be anywhere from your pregnancy experience, postpartum. Just what are some things that you think would be really valuable for folks to know who are watching and listening to what both of you had to share?
You know, okay, I would say I could start it out.
yeah, go ahead.
Just keep in mind that, you know, you guys are a team, and look at y'all are embarking on this journey and need to overcome whatever the circumstance is that you're in, right? Like, you know, we're new parents, so we work as a team to overcome the fact that this less than 1 year child, you know, is going to be crying and fussing at times, and just navigating all that you know, how babies, they don't communicate with words. They have to communicate with, you know, cries and sounds and just random shrieking. And they're not on the same sleep schedule as everyone else, because they don't have to work or go to school. And it's like, and also just remember that those times, honestly, nothing can really prepare you for the sleeplessness, but just remember, as you're navigating this time where you're getting no sleep, it is you two against, I guess, the dilemma or the problem, air quote, even though it's not really a problem, it's you navigating this situation together to come out better on the other end. You know? Yeah,
I have a few, but I'll keep it.
We can shoot back and forth.
I can keep it a little short and concise, but I will say,
I want you to share as much as you think would be of value. Yeah.
because I think it's I'm very honest about how I'm feeling about things in the moment. If you were to ask me right now how I'm doing, it's important for you to be honest, especially with the village that you have around you. I have really wonderful friends, really wonderful family that I can be very honest with about how I'm feeling. And then, just in having them give me words of affirmations, or like, hey, you want me to come over? We can hang out, or do you need a moment out of the house? Like, that's where that sort of like, hey, how can I help? Sort of situation comes into play, is when you're being honest about the fact that you do need help, or you do need some sort of just moment to breathe. But I also always say that two truths can exist at the same time. So, for example, this is a Saturday. We're doing this interview on a Saturday where Zora is at my mom's house. And although I miss her a lot, I know for a fact that I am very glad to have this one-on-one time with David, and we can relax, and there's, football on. So just knowing that you're not a bad parent if you need a break from your kid. So just being honest about what you need and naming those needs to your village is really, really important, for the sake of you being able to then pour into your own cup. Because a healthy mom and a healthy dad is it's really wonderful for the kid in the long run. So prioritizing yourself within that equation is important.
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that so much. Thank you both for, just sharing about your experience and, giving just such important tips and advice to parents. I think what you both said was just so valuable. Both of you communicated the importance of really having community, a village. And, kids aren't raised in a vacuum. You really need other people outside of just the parents to support you. And I love that you have your mother, the grandparents are involved, your friends, a whole community to help support and uplift you, both and Zora.
Right. Exactly.
What was that?
I said cousins and uncles.
It's all
exactly. And I'm just gonna end this on the one final question, because I realized I skipped it, but you guys kind of did share a lot about it, and I guess it would be just overall your entire experience. How has this helped you prioritize joy and connection, not only as individuals but as a couple?
Prioritizing joy. That is a great, I guess, two words that stand out, because when you're building, a family dynamic, you got to realize or just be attentive to the stuff you just don't have capacity for. You got to be really more intentional. It's like, hey, I don't really want to do that. I want to stay here and like be amongst my family. It kind of forces you to just really be more intentional with the things you engage with, the type of energies that you will be around.
Absolutely.
Those type of things, because you don't want that to rub off on what you got here in the household. You gotta be more intentional with the type of people you engage. Just level-headedness. Just because anything is like, oh man, we got to deal with that type of energy. We're not really for that, but really enjoy just prioritizing each other, making sure everything is good here. Got to protect we call it our little family circle, but it's really just making sure we keep good energy flowing in and out of it.
Yeah, I would say definitely that. I'm very protective of I call it the Pierre party of three. So it's just us and kind of what that looks like, because I understand just the day-to-day of navigating parenting within our household. There is no room for any sort of negativity or just like outside noise when we're already kind of dealing with our own little internal landscape and navigating that with each other. So as far as that goes, just when you have, your village, just leaning into them for those moments of self-care. I read a lot. I love to go and hang out with some friends of mine, and all I have to say is, hey, David, I want to do XYZ. Do you have the capacity to watch her for a few? If he says yes, cool, I go. But I also allow him to be honest with me about his capacity. And he allows me, to be honest with him. So I think that's important in just prioritizing the connection and what works for us as a family. And then also pouring into ourselves as individuals, and again, being honest about, hey, I need to prioritize myself right at this moment. I need to step away. I need like an hour. Cool. And so that's just kind of the dynamic that we have. And it works for us.
Love it. Well, thank you both. I really appreciate you carving out some time on your free Saturday to, just to, share again about your experience and drop some really valuable nuggets. So thank you both.
Thank you.
No problem. Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again to Sloane and David. Love you so much. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and share.